thermal. So you should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. If you were a bridal party, I would be the hottest thing inside the frame right now. Yeah, I make that joke on purpose. It'll make more sense later. Anyway, we're looking for blue and black, just like Monique said. So the blue and black, I'm looking for them to either take shape or to start moving on their own. When I say shape, I'm looking for head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. You guys get the picture, right? So the cool thing about your video is that there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. That blue dot is there to help point out the exact coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So you can't see it from a distance, but when you get your video back, it'll help guide your eye so that way you know what you're looking for. Andon, you forgot your question. So it'll come back to you. So with that said, this is a FLIR camera. This is not a phone app that you can download, just so you know. This is the real deal. This is what firemen would use as a quick, fix to go help save a burning building. So again, this is the real deal here. Now you got it.
Alright, so what if you only see like a bottom half or a top half? Would it just be like different?
I can't say that that's ever happened. So does this camera capture something every single night? Not necessarily. So I capture about 4 to 6 holy cow moments every single year. So I'll kind of give you a basis of like what your TV shows are showing you versus what the actual investigations actually look like. So with that said, like I'm going to do a few behind me, so be very discreet when you're pointing your camera that way. The nice thing about yours, Chelsea, I've noticed, is that even though you're standing there, you can still hold it like a suitcase while it's recording, and it gives us a nice, clear shot. So if anything's going to show up in there, you're not going to notice it in real time. We'll catch it in the review tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Oh, opposite. So stop the video.
Okay.
Because now it's going to be all kinds of crazy.
Okay.
Grab the top handle, like a suitcase.
I see.
Now hit the record button. Always keep it landscape. All right, so welcome to your parking lot. So what is this place? This place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion actually sat in the front of this space where that white car is parked, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with the Five Church restaurant over there and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who were these people? I guess first and foremost, for all of you communication device people, this is where I start withholding information. I will not be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red horn. So, I usually get a chuckle out of that. Wow, you guys are pretty like stern.
I'm like ready. I'm ready to.
I know you're focused. She's laser. So anyway, Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. There's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues, so I know which one's coming through. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina.
Maybe.
Say that again.
Maybe.
Possibly. Keep that one on a side burner. If I don't bring up that Constitution bit, they will do it for me in a disembodied voice very angrily to somebody on a spirit box. So I have to give that little bit, but I hate politics. We're going to talk about Eliza instead. We're going to move on. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say today's standards is because if you guys are going to ask her how old she was, don't expect numbers like 12 and 14 from the colonial times that she came from. Think of today's standards. And I bring that up is because her husband was over double her age when they married. Kind of a creepy age gap back then, definitely a creepy age gap now. So she married him because her father was over in England and he thought he was dying, and she got married instead because she didn't believe he was dying. It's 1744. You don't get married in that particular year to get a green card. We're not even a country yet. So she was right though. Dad didn't die right away. So instead he started sending her gifts from England to where we are now, right here. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least more than, 12 hours? So you've seen the word indigo somewhere. So indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. Some of you are wearing it tonight because that's how we use it today. When she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She learned from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not warm here all the time. When she figured it out how to make the dye, she moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of her father and said, the rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. That's something absolutely unheard of. Welcome to Women's History Month on Stories in the Cemetery, everybody. So, that's the boring business stuff. Let's get into the crazy, stuff. That's why you guys are all here, right? So, what I'm going to do with all the communication devices, I'm going to kind of give you a series of questions to focus on. Keep in mind, we have plenty of communication, including all the cameras plus my audio. If you're not getting answers, that means it could be going to somebody else's device. So, kind of keep that in mind as well. So, I'm going to actually start off with yours because we're going to be basically looking for her initials. She actually gave them to us last night, but Eliza was the second wife named Eliza. And both Elizas had a maiden name that started with the letter L. So, I'm not going to tell you what those are, but her initials would be ELP. We got an EP out of it last night, which is kind of weak. I'd rather be more convinced with an ELP. We're going to talk more about your EMF device. So Zach, with yours, I want you we're going to go after, the mansion's not here anymore. So what happened to it, and when did that happen? So it's obviously very specific questions. If you're not getting answers to that, you can move on to, I'm going to give you the children question, but please tread lightly. You seem like you're a pretty, steadfast guy, so we're all going to know it's you. The reason I say tread lightly with the children questions, there's a tragedy there. All activity will stop if you start poking the bear. You can ask how many children she had and what their names were. That's it. So 4 simple questions. Mansion of what and when, children of how many, and names. So very simple. With yours, Eliza's very open about her death. You can ask her how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was the pallbearer at her funeral. These are all specific questions that we've gotten answers to in the past. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of spread out. So I'm going to actually keep Gina behind so I can show her a few more things about the EMF detector. Keep in mind, this is the only entrance and exit to the space. When people are coming through here, either by foot or on wheels through a car, they get a little weirded out by a bunch of blinky lights. So again, put your devices at a comfort level. So, and you look like you're ready to go to school. I love it. She's like, I got my books tucked. Yeah, and she's wearing all black. Look at me. So, but yeah, I actually did pretty well, I think, with the devices. You got the belly shot. That's a perfect shot too. So again, let's spread out. I'm going to keep Gina behind. And then I'm going to have you hang out with Dad just for a few, and keep an eye on where your colors are going. Take plenty of pictures, just none of cars. Fair?
Got it.
Got it. Perfect. All right, spread out, everybody. I'll be with everybody in just a minute to see what everybody else is going on.
Hey, Dad, you want to go over here?
Let's start off with this guy here. Okay, back to the left. The average height here.
Take a couple pictures, Andon. Over here. This is sand. Take some pictures.
I did. Not light enough, I don't think.
Doesn't matter.
Around here.
What'd you get?
Got a 3. Dad, watch out. Dad, watch out. I got a right here. I got like some kind of like 3. Oh, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. It's this way. I caught something over here.
She's over there too. She's got something. Getting any more readings?
No, I just got something.
Oh, there you just got one.
Oh god, I got a 4. Right here. It's right here. Right here. Right here.
You got a 4?
Oh my god. I got a 3. I'm getting 4. God. It's over here somewhere. Oh, okay. I got you. It's over here. I know where you are. Oh god.
I'm going to come over here and take a picture. Landon's getting some readings over there.
Is he?
Yeah, you should go by him. And go back to where you were getting those readings.
Alright,
I keep getting a 5 over there. Like, it's like going all the way up to it.
all the way up to the red. Alright, everybody watch out for the car.
It could have been there.
He's going all the way up. People get really weird about those cameras in the cars.
Did they really?
Yeah. So I love this space. I was actually looking to retire it, and I'll talk about that more.
Yeah.
And it's only because we get some nasty things, but people get really weirded out over here. Again, because you wouldn't expect a tour to be coming through here.
They're parking.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's nothing to see for the other
Yeah.
tours to show off. So, I need Monique. Come hither. I want to know what you got going on over there. How you doing with it?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
It's deciphering. The only thing that I really got that wasn't just garbage was the word baby. As you get your notebook out.
Is it over there?
Yeah.
Because I got,
He was getting readings over there.
and then over here, I got like others.
Yeah, and they're going to be random. I'm going to follow up with her.
And I will say, when we were over there, I got the word dismissed.
Dismissed and baby.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Because it.
I'm thinking of the history that I'm withholding from you.
Okay.
So again, no matter how silly you think it is, like I know you've heard the word baby, and that seems like a very paranormal type of term to hear. Again, it's the weirdest shit. You hear the song "Hands on My Knees," and I'm interested in the word "needs." Now I actually need something. So it's about those little things that you're really not sure what they are. So again, don't look for anything; just let it happen.
Because when I heard this. Yeah, because when I got Navy and then dismissed, it went. My brain went military, like dismissed.
So there's more of a discharge there than it would have been a dismissal with somebody specific. So I'll mention that like as we wrap this location up. Again, I'm going to give you guys the answers. I'm not going to leave you hanging.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I regroup us to kind of let you know what's going on.
But I don't know how to even describe it. It almost feels like what's over here is kind of standoffish.
Can be. Very
Like-
prominent English family.
Like, there's too many people around here. Like, we're just gonna stand back here.
Yeah.
Like, y'all do what you need, but we. Yeah,
You're correct.
That's.
And I'll explain why I was looking to actually retire this space before we close this. When I wrap things up. This is the one space I actually come to before I leave the house because I always let Eliza know how many people I'm bringing. It's, again, the exact same thing. Recognition, but they don't.
Are you getting a reading, Cena?
This thing's got a little wild.
Huh?
This thing went a little wild.
Where, right here?
And over there. More over there, actually. MD.
Ooh, doctor. How do you use that thing?
So you can ask it questions. Or you can ask questions. It's just randomly doing this now. He said a lot of what you'll get will be mumbo jumbo.
Keep taking those pictures, Andy.
All right, let's wrap everybody in. You guys can come somewhere. All right, so Gina, any numbers come out of yours?
Yeah. It was up to like 29.8.
Nice. Told you
I
were
got
gonna
a
get higher numbers than
26.
them. Okay.
And there was like 22, like I was hopping around.
Okay, so we're about in the 20s.
Yes.
All right. Any letters that you can make out that would be anything relevant? Any words being spelled out?
Not really any words. The last one was like, I thought it was writing something, but then it was like BJ, BIVE. It was like random, but it
Well, we're
started
also,
off-
that's actually perfect. Perfect segue. So,
Our lives. I just heard.
I'm gonna write that one down. I want to stick to the PJs for just a moment. So where did we just leave?
Big John. That's why I thought it was
So
something was
bleed
happening.
over. That's what I call bleed over. When you have two spaces that are relatively close to each other, we do get relevant information from the other space. We could have been getting pinkney things over there, if that makes sense. So when I'm going through your data, I know the proximity and where we're going to be, so that way I can kind of see where the bleed over is going to come into play. So I'm excited about BJ being on there, but I'm not convinced yet. So I'm going to be looking for Big John's jersey number, his year of birth, something of, something more relative to him than just BJ for Big John. Because let's face it, his real initials are JC, John Kennedy. So again, I'm excited but not, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go through the answers here and kind of.
It was weird. It was almost like, you know how like babies cry until like their mom has to pick them up? Like it was almost like as soon as I got a big bleeding, I just stopped crying, and then when I walked away, it just
Okay. All right. There's going to be folks cutting through us. That's usually when we just kind of split the C's. Chelsea, I'm telling you, I'm going to give you a job later on. You're perfect at that.
I gotta sit down.
So, every ghost tour comes down here, just so you know. It's actually kind of empty in here for being a Friday night, and most of you like are on spring break vacation, I'm guessing.
Oh, I got a few.
Anniversary.
So, anniversary. Well, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
So you go on the
4th. Congrats.
Been together for 12.
It wasn't. It was a long walk.
We'll
It
go
was
with 12. How about that? That's
hot
much
and
better.
humid it was.
I'm just getting a Pier 3, just like over.
So let me go to the EMF devices. You're going to get the second green, maybe even a yellow, and it's going to be pretty steady because of the lamp posts around us. So your device, Gina, is going to go between, like, I would say, like 4 to 6. So again, I'm looking for things over that 6, maybe 7. just because of the lamppost, so don't get super stoned. Whenever you're going over a crosswalk, by the way, all of the electrical lines for the crosswalks on top of the parking meters are underneath our concrete. So again, that's why it went off like crazy. That's why I was trying to hurry him along. Like, dude, I get it. Come on. Don't get run over. So welcome to Philly Alley. This place used to be called Dueler's Alley. By the way, anybody hear anything along the way?
Wallace?
Wallace. Give me Wallace. Ex-wife's maiden name. Sorry.
Just wait till he's
Just
done.
burns.
That's a mean ghost.
Anything else come up before I go to Zach? Going
Just
once?
gibberish right now.
Gibberish.
Mud, doctor, safe to go,
Okay.
going in.
Remind me to write all that down. So here's why it's all relevant. And
Didn't they used to like duel here?
yes, can I tell the story?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hang tight, bud.
I got this. So, welcome to Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur, not all of them. Remember, dueling was illegal, so it was like a hidden thing to do. So we all tell the same story. We're going to tell a little bit different details with us because we're not campfire marshmallow type of ghost tour, right? We're going ghost hunting. We're going to let this small group pass through. Come on through, folks. You're good. We'll split the seas for you. How are you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Zach, you gave us more than what you know. So here's how this story goes. There is a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. This exact location is why we have GINA's Ouija board. We were getting the initials of RI for Rhode Island down here through spirit boxes all the time. So I decided why not actually get the digital Ouija board to see if we can get it that way. We've had it a handful of times. I've had that device for about 6 months. But again, it's not an every single night occurrence. So here's how the rest of the story goes. He moves down here from Rhode Island because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all the cash. The attorney thinks that the doctor is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd moves down. By the way, the doctor, I don't think I gave it to you because I got too excited about the word doctor coming out of Zach. Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If you guys hear brown-eyed girl while you're down here, it's not coincidence, just so you know. But anyway, he comes down to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. As he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston. However, somebody was walking by with the name Ralph Isaacs. Keep in mind, Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. So, again, Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. Again, we need a secondary clue to know where the RI actually goes when we do get it. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room. You'll be safe and good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer, they became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's money. So she gets wind of this, she's moving down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the whistling doctor. What I will tell you is that every haunted city you will ever visit has a cliched whistling ghost. It's a guarantee. I'll put my paycheck on it. We actually have proof of this one. I'm going to get to that. So, Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's just the way the hierarchy works. Now, they go see Richard III one night, and they're arguing over the actress on the way home. Dr. Ladd thought she was fantastic. Ralph didn't think so. It turned into an argument, and then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It gets very ugly. They go their separate ways. Ralph has friends here, like I mentioned earlier, so he goes to his friends at the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a like, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Doctor saw the ad, rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. So they came down, he took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel, by the way. Ralph has his one shot, though. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor falls to the ground. His friends picked him up, carried him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 4 or 10 days later, depending on which version of the story you're reading, but his death date always remains the same, November 2nd of 1786. Even when he went home, he still refused medical treatment. I want you to keep in mind this guy's a doctor, and that blood, gunshot wounds during 1786 are a lot different than what we think of a gunshot wound today. He was probably trying to bleed out the lead poisoning. So, they say as you walk through the alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. Now, we don't have to sit around and listen for it because we're voice recording it with my voice recorder. So you can listen to this portion and see if there's any whistles in the background. If you're going to try this on your own using the voice recorders on your phone as you walk all the way through the alley, keep in mind everybody knows this, every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. So I do it every single night. Again, we passed my garage on the way here, so I have to pass the alley to get to my car. If my daughter's on the tour, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle first. It's just a little game, especially since I got booted out of here. Let's talk about how Nick got in trouble. Isn't that always fun? So, I used to take my groups all the way through. By the way, we are not going to spread out in this space. I'm here just to kind of stir shit up so we can get the bleed over when we go to the next space across the street. Again, to fully understand all of this, you need to be in the alley. So let's kind of get into why I got kicked out. The alley didn't always go all the way through this way. There was a wall about halfway between us and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock. It was called Cow Alley at the time. But that means the bricks on that side are sun-dried bricks. They're older bricks than these. They're sun-dried from slave children. So they're basically turning those bricks in the sun. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there and fingerprint swipes. And I used to always point them out because I'm sure you guys figured out I'm all about the history and research. I didn't even care about the diversity of my groups. We all need to see those damn handprints. So, November 26th of 2020, my entire group wants to huddle around that brick and see if they're going to get a reading out of it. First off, the kid's not staring at that brick. I treat it the same way I do a grave. He's not there. It's also outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. What I didn't know is I was out of bounds. I was just trying to be respectful, but we're not allowed in residential areas with quote-unquote tours. So I was like, oh crap. The new owner came out, started yelling. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. Now, the next day we actually moved on. So the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked in retail for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. Most of you can feel my pain. I don't do Thanksgiving anymore. The next day was the 28th. These dates are irrelevant. I'm getting to that. I was talking to my partner and kind of told him what happened. He's like, well, you can't do that. You can only go down halfway or you got to reroute your group. So I told him I tour that night. I don't believe in this whole pirate story we're about to go talk about. I'm a big vampire guy. So we're going to see what happens. Before we left, somebody heard that we're going to let this people pass through. Oh, how you doing, man?
How you doing?
Good, good.
I want to be in top form for tomorrow.
Yeah. How come you didn't get us matching t-shirts? Not your thing?
You guys didn't get me bells. So, tit for tat, right? So,
Fair.
So before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. What I didn't tell that group was who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. Normally, I tell you pirates, you automatically go to Blackbeard, a male. So I was kind of like, all right, we'll see what happens. We get down there. I told what little bit I did know about piracy, because it wasn't much, because again, vampire guy. Somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that means in real time. I write it down, research the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Oh, wow.
So I went, damn it, now I gotta learn about pirates. So half my library now is about pirates, trying to debunk the pirate lore. Everything we're about to discuss came from a minimum of 2 resources. It is a crazy story, but it is also a hit or miss location. Anne is said to be seen all over town. So again, we're either gonna know within the first 5 minutes after we go through the history, whether she's there or not. So that'll kind of determine what's actually gonna happen. So Bruce is like, yeah, no, I'm out. So I'm tapping out, good. So those of you with the video record, oh, by the way, the gate behind me, I like to point that out too. And I know like the history can be long, especially when we have kids on a tour, but this gate, remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? So in the event there was a loser to a duel, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side. Otherwise, they'd have to go all the way down the Queen Street and loop around with a dead body, which is dead weight, literally, before they can go celebrate the winner with a pint. So again, not many people know why this archway is here. The wrought iron is, I'm guessing, is early 1900s, but the archway is definitely not. It is original. So again, very interesting little piece of our history that not many people actually know about. I still can't find the article where I actually found out why. So I've been searching for it the past 3 months and still can't find the damn article that I found 4 years ago about this archway. So, because again, I want to be able to prove that, because we have been getting the word gate coming up from time to time before you guys even get here, which is interesting. So, any major questions about dueling? I can't tell you about all the dueling rules because it is in very, very old English, and there's about 300 rules to a duel. Like, you can't insult the mother's dog's cousin kind of thing. Like, it gets a little crazy. So, anybody smell something flowery?
Yes.
Where's it coming from?
I don't know.
I know. It's
I can smell for sure.
Just like that. Little breeze. Oh, by the way, did you guys hear how quiet it is? It is always this quiet down here. Like, crazy Saturday afternoon, it is always this quiet.
You hear a hello?
Except for when there's ghosts talking from the other side of the wall that I
right, exactly.
So, they're not on the payroll, I promise. So let's go learn about crazy pirates and let's go see what we can do up there. So those are good cameras. If you want to keep them going, by all means. Wade, you got issues? Did it pop
Yeah.
out of there? You got it?
Yep, I'm
All
good.
right, perfect. All right, let's hit up this one.
That cool spot right here. Cool spot right here.
Aliens are real, okay?
Ghosts are real, aliens are real.
I'm trying to tell you, look up in the sky one day, you see something moving, and it's not an airplane, it's not an airplane.
I should stop it.
Can you smell ghost? Because I keep smelling something flowery.
So as soon as she got baby, I started like just feeling feeling started crying. And then as soon as I got like a red, I just randomly stopped crying. But like you know how like people carry their babies to try to get them to stop crying?
Mm-hmm.
What if the ghost was right next to me and was trying to calm me down?
Could be. Totally be.
So again, I bring us back here, back away at the other tours. I'm sure you guys picked up on that, right? So we will be spreading out in this location after I kind of go through the history. Obviously, we got a handful of cards. You guys know the rules. So let's kind of break right into it. So, of course, he's going to be
What
louder than me.
happened in 1992?
I don't know. I don't know which story
A
he's
young
telling.
couple. That's all I heard. Now I'm all yours.
He's kind of freaking me out too, guys. He's not just you. He's pretty quiet as well. Like these two are talking my ear off, and then there's Wade in the corner. Anyway, we're here to talk about that little tiny building over there where that other tour group is right behind. So those are not crosses on that building, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, because you're not from down here, which I don't think any of you are, they're basically turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned at the very beginning of our time together, we can turn those turnbuckles and tighten the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. I see your wheel spinning, dude. Like, yeah, that shit's broken. Like, that doesn't work. So the reason I point these out is because it's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. Why? Because it's the oldest government building in South Carolina. Yeah, I'm not going to do an acting bit for you guys, so that's not going to happen. But that is the oldest government building in South Carolina, which is why we're here. It was being constructed at the exact same time that Anne Bonny was coming here, and it would be something familiar. So if you guys have watched your TV shows, you've seen the teddy bear that they use to attract children ghosts, right? So this is the same type of concept. This is just something she would recognize. We don't have many buildings this old. So again, let's kind of talk about Anne. Let's get into that story. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? Not at all. I'm just going to answer for you. So 1708 is where the story begins, right in the middle. So follow me. There's a lot of twists. I will slow down on the twists so you guys can grab them. No yawning. I see it coming out.
No.
So she's like, no, not me. Don't call me out. But anyway, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You guys with me so far? Mm-hmm. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was she that they got to get on a boat and leave Ireland and get the hell out of the country? So, gentlemen, treat your ladies right. Just pointing that out. Zach's like, don't tell me what to do. I'll clobber you, man. So, Captain Caveman over here. So, anyway, just heard the word clobber and thought of caveman. Bad to be a writer some days, dude. It really is, because words just pop in my head all the time. So anyway, they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach, just so you have that idea. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down to Charleston to sell anything from the plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. Now, let's take another step back to Ireland for a second, because Anne was said to be a badass when she was 7, 8, 9 years old. Again, it's pirate lore. No exact numbers here. So they say she killed a servant when she was 7, 8, 9 years old with a knife to the belly. So again, hardcore shit here.
The daughter.
Yes. Yeah. Even at that young age. So how old are you?
I'm 10.
Yeah, so she was younger than him.
Oh, God.
And she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. We have had the term servant, knife, belly all in the same, just so you know. Anyway, back to Anne. Fast forward. The building's done in 13. Pirates are coming through Charlestown in 1715. Anne is stoked. She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. So, first guy she falls in love with. Yes, I said first because there's a handful, and we're going to go through them all. First guy is James Bonney. You already know where this one's going, right? Dad didn't approve, filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica, they get married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the name came from. However, James Bonney is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. This is not who she wants. He's a coward. So she falls in love again a few years later. Guy number 2, John Rackham, aka Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you guys know who this guy is. He has his own crew and wants to be part of it. So you can't put a female on a pirate crew. Anybody know why? Keep it family friendly. We have young ears.
Too many guys.
I said family friendly. Bad luck, everybody. So
Oh, okay.
Keep it simple. You guys overthink things with this group. That's so funny.
Bad luck.
Bad luck. Keep it with the Lord. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, you could be part of it, but you're definitely going to be a female in my quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together. For most of us that are adults here, she's going to be a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So and then they're going to get Jack off the ship. So he drops her off in Cuba before she starts to show that she's pregnant. Have the baby here, come back later, and we'll figure it out later. So she goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. No amount of my research has found it. Yeah, I know, crazy stuff. The interesting part of the story, she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack angry, because now everybody's gonna know he let a girl on the crew. And while she was gone giving birth, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. Anne's gonna go flirting with that pirate crew because that's who Anne is, guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack was captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like males on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So, her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure. But the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships after them to take down one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks because they didn't know how to use the cannon jig. So, obviously 2 flintlocks are not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack. She says, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot. Okay? Very famous quote by Anne Bonny. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly after he's already tried to hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. Anne and Mary go in front. They're trying to save themselves, so they reveal their gender, letting the judge know that they're girls. He doesn't care. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they shouted, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So, he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up. I'm sorry for this loud group. They're actually kind of pissing me off a little bit. This is why I don't do drunks. If you guys were to show up drunk, I'm out of here. That's why. Anyway, and Bruce is like, "Yeah, I get it." I'm like, expensive gear, loud girls, not going to happen. So, anyway, back to the judge. Dad is up here with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 80. Yes, very abrupt ending. Mary Reed dies a year later in 1721 from whatever pirates die from in Jamaican jails. Use your imagination. Most books and articles will tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say it was BS. Let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? We're talking pirates. So, here's what's going to go on with your devices. So hopefully they're going to clear out of our way because I know some of you are going to want to get close to that wall. Bruce, with your camera, the largest orb I've ever caught has been near that wall. It was larger than my head and intelligent. So again, kind of keep that in mind. EMF readings. On the back half is where I'm going to be excited. If you get things on the front half of this lot, parking meters to electrical poles. Don't get excited. As far as the, I don't know really what to expect out of here. I'm actually going to see if you can, it's just the speed of it. You're good. So you can ask Anne Bonny what her hair color was. I only left 2 things out of here, by the way. So the 2 questions I left out are the name of Anne Bonny's parents, on purpose, and the name of Calico Jack's ship. Everything else, this is not a prominent English woman. Poke that bear a little bit. Get some answers out of her. So again, if you're struggling with your spirit box, just spread that other earbud. I know Bruce is out. He's already tapped out, so we know that already. And then what do you got?
Something weird was going on. It was just like holding her down.
Interesting. I didn't see any red show up out of there at all.
Yeah, but like it was weird. I think I like bumped the button and then turned it back on, and it.
Oh yeah, it'll always pulse when you turn it back on.
Okay.
So you're good on that.
Good
Do you
job.
know how much the bail was? Because I got 50 money.
Didn't you hear 50,000?
50,000.
Yeah. Interesting that the number 50 has shown up. Interesting. I don't know. And I don't know that there's going to be a record of it anywhere either, because it was kind of a hidden thing among like aristocratic pieces, if that kind of gives you an idea. It would have been kind of a hidden thing. Zach, remind me what you heard over at Philly Alley again?
Mud. I'm going there. Safe to go. And doctor.
Doctor obviously being very relevant. Keep in mind you will get other pieces hopefully relative to the doctor story over here as well. Wade, your camera loves to act up in here, so let me know if you see anything funky. We'll see if anything occurs with it. It hasn't happened for quite a few months, but it does, like about a year ago, that thing was acting really wonky in here. And it's the same camera. I think that about covers it. Any other major questions about pirates before we start exploring? I'm really trying to give them a minute to get the hell out of our way. I'm just stalling to kind of see what we got going on. Yeah. Monique, have you heard anything since we've been? Hold my hand. Interesting. Oh, you will probably also hear the song "Girls Just Want to Have Fun." Like we get that a lot here too, just so you know. So just giving you some of the common things that we get. But yeah, I say we spread out a little bit, just stay the hell out of their way. I don't know how much they've had to drink. But yeah, let's stay away from vehicles and the drunken group. So let's have some fun in this space. I'll be bouncing around with everybody. We'll do 2 round robins and kind of see what we get.
Would that be like a radio song or just like something? Okay, that was fun.
When things are coming up, are there ever like words in a line? Like, do you mean like?
So I will tell you at the Pinckney Mansion site on 2 different nights, 2 different investigations, we've had the word coat show up over there, spelled properly, C-O-A-T. The interesting thing about coat is that Charles Pinckney that I told you about was the son. His full name was Charles Coatsworth. It wasn't spelled the same, but it's the same phonetic sound. So it kind of stood out to me because it came up twice within like a 2-week period. You know, it's 2 different people that found it. It's not me, it's only places as you guys. So when you guys give me the same thing, why is it giving me the same word?
Yeah, got it.
So again, sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't.
Okay. And but we could be looking for like
anagrams, initials. Obviously, AB would be a big thing here because of Anne Bonny. MR from Mary Reed.
It's weird about looking wheels in the alley when you said whistle. A W came up when you said Amanda and A came up. Is that coincidence or?
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that either because it was like the only time that something happened there. Yeah.
And don't forget to take pictures, buddy.
But I like it.
Yeah, and there were more letters between, but it was just weird that the
Come over here by this old.
literally as soon as you said Amanda, the A came up. Literally when you said whistle, like the W came up. Yeah, so I was like trying to.
Now he'll be able to measure it. It's like great damn ghost coming in.
We heard girls just want to have fun.
I hear it.
As soon as you said it, I turned the volume up. I walked away.
Okay, so I've heard call me out 3 times like that.
Okay. What was the other one?
Call me out. I heard that like 3 times.
Kind of like what we were doing last with the ship, like just take people
So here, in-screen and disappear. So that's how I know it was. That was the camera was steady, so it was definitely definitely very intelligent piece. So again, that's actually the small cameras, it's not always a real-time catch. It's always the next day when I do find something in there that thermal though, when we find something in that thermal, it's a holy shit moment. Like it's a holy cow. How the hell did we miss this in real time?
Yeah.
I have full people walking towards us and verified with other cameras that there was nobody else nearby. And I want to see like when I say walking towards us, full. And it's usually from the kids that use it. Whenever something comes up on there, the problem with it is they're filming the play with them. It's a lot of frame by frame for that, for any of the cameras, especially now the new SLS, just because the camera's so quick. We caught something last night at the next case we're going to, and I couldn't wait to go to my computer this morning to lighten up the picture and make sure we get it. Like not like a lamppost or a sign or something that looks like it's on the lake.
And go to the damn stand.
I listened to it a little bit. Yeah, I don't think that.
I'm getting something right there. I'm getting something right there.
That's that hole.
I don't think it is.
Nothing that like it looks
Electrical.
It was.
I like turn the sensitivity up again. So we started off strong.
I think I
Okay, yeah.
I got a 2.
It's steady. So whenever something's steady or it's usually
Tell that over and over. Just over and over and over and over.
No. I'm getting a lot of blank. I've heard one word come from
That's what I'm
Same
saying,
riff.
man.
The same riff over and over.
We started off real strong. Now it's like silence.
Yeah.
Any numbers over there, Gina? Nothing? All right. Again, I said 5 minutes. We'll know, so let's call it. This is an easy one. So, before I kind of cover the answers, the next space, just so you know like what's going on with the next one, I want to kind of give you a preamp on that one.
Josiah.
What was it?
I just got a name. Josiah.
That's weird. I'll write that one down. The next space will be our last location, just so you guys know. We're going to be heading to a park. It's about 2.5 blocks from here. For those of you with cameras, if you want to take a break, you can. I don't think.
No, but like it's kind of just weird out there. Like I think I could probably kill like a one.
Annan's such a good ghost hunter. I said Annan's such a good ghost hunter.
my right eye's very blue.
Oh no.
So I'll just put it together.
Well, they're grown-ups. We're gonna step up over here. See, I didn't know if he was going to be asking questions or if you were going to be asking questions. Oh, okay.
It gets worse, trust me. Mine are 17 and 22.
Oh man.
It's way worse. On this block, I actually have to follow the street signs. Everywhere else, I'm like, we'll just keep reading.
Have y'all been to the rooftop?
About being a
You need to go. Yes.
That's verifying.
Run along meeting in Queen Street. They're gonna clear out the rod, expand the floor, shrink others, put the building back together. And then it'll add 2 levels. It'll go from being a 5-story building to a 7. Now, the family that stayed here in the 90s, and they said this hotel needs a warning.
Everybody wants to see me after they scroll through a few things on TripAdvisor. They're like, oh, what's that kind of equipment?
Well, yeah, it does set you apart. It actually looks like home too. Many.
Drag husband. That shows at least he has something to entertain him. It is literally all over. I know this is going to be long for kids.
Oh,
But
he'll talk all about it the whole ride home. Like he,
again, once they go through the recordings, I can't tell you how many text messages I get from 10, 11-year-olds. They say, I just found this out about Blackbeard. Is this true?
Okay, that up there at that tower, it looks like a person.
And that's just the way she goes.
Oh,
That is super creepy though.
it just,
That's creepy. I saw the same. I thought the same thing as I
got the quickest tool ever. I don't see why they won't be those here, but like.
Oh.
Doesn't that look like they're also doing like shower things?
I'm going to hand you this line for noise canceling to the headphones. Don't have to put them on until you come back. Alright, so you're going to have noise canceling headphones, just so you guys know. This is also a disposable blindfold. Eyewax is also gross. So I don't want this back either. How this actually works. Open it up, and you see 2 eye patches. In the center of that is 2 patches. back with you having a separate spirit box, I definitely want to have you continue to listen. And if you're hearing things, we're all going to be pretty silent. So again, keep that in mind. You can just kind of whisper things back to us, like, oh, I just heard this, or I just heard that. Also, when we come back, because I'm blindfolding somebody, we're going to huddle in around you. So that way the other four of them so, yeah, exactly. So keep in mind, again, I'm the weirdo in town. I don't need other people stealing my ideas of the equipment and this new method that I've been trying for the past few weeks. So let's go learn about why we're here. You two stay put. We're going to hit this point. So when I first came here, this is a new space for me. So this is definitely an experiment. We didn't know what we were going to find. I had a small group of 2 people that were pretty intuitive to things, and there's a million memorials, so we didn't know who was going to come about. The first thing they heard was 1828. Then the name Henry showed up. Then the name Tim showed up. So I started like looking around at all the monuments. This is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. Those are the first 3 things that we heard when we came in here. I knew I heard the story before, but I did a little bit of research just so we had a little bit to work with. This guy was sick through most of his life. Being born in 1828, he's obviously old enough to go fight in the Civil War. He wanted to go fight for the Confederates because he's from here. So he goes out to the battlefield, and his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they send him home, and they knew he was a writer, so they said, go be the voice of the war. So he came home, started writing poetry about what was going on in the battlefield. He became known as the laureate of the Confederacy. That's a pretty big ordeal for us writers. That's pretty prestigious. So a few years after he comes home, he has a son. His son's name was Willie. You're going to know that. She is not. We're going to be asking about the son. He was born on Christmas Eve and died 9 months later. So October 23rd was that death date. Obviously a very tragic death. A few years go by. He's still mourning. His college buddy calls him up and says, I have a cottage out in the middle of Columbia. You can go out there and finish working on the piece you're supposed to be writing right now, and you'd be away from all of the tragic remembrances of your son, Willie. So he goes out there, and that's where he writes his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality. Basically translates to person of short life. And then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. That blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. We call it the Blood Book, and they only show it 1 day a year at the Charleston Library Society. And you have to be a member of the society in order to be able to go see the book. However, the internet is beautiful. I'm going to show you what the Blood Book looks like, and then we're going to go ask some questions to Mr. Henry. Keep in mind that Henry is a writer, very shy, introverted man. It usually takes a few minutes for us to get him used to us. So I will probably start the talking, and then I'll ask you guys if you want to ask any more questions. But hopefully with all of these other tours around here, it's not going to frighten him off. I may send you on, because we've also been getting triple-digit EMF readings in here. I will send maybe you and Andy around in the grassy areas to see if you get any high spikes and you come back and report. So again, this is the Blood Book, just so you guys know what you're looking at. So you can see where the blood stain looks like a man writing. And then the last words to me as a writer are just as creepy. So beholder of brief mortality, and he dies right on the page. Like, come on, it doesn't get any creepier than that. So we're going to go over there and blindfold her up and see what we can get out of this. So again, I don't know a whole lot about this guy. Oh, the wife's name is Katie. So I may ask about the wife's name first, just to see if I can get him to warm up to us before I go straight for that tragedy, if that makes sense. Again, know your ghost. Don't piss them off. So that's kind of the mentality that I have here. So let's go over. Let's see what we can get. We actually caught something here last night with your camera, just so you know, and it was directly at this guy. Okay. So I will explain more about that before we leave. going to know how loud you are. So again, I'm going to be able to hear you directly. I also have the voice recorder pretty close by. So again, keep it to a whisper. It is what you would consider a whisper. When I'm going to keep you under for 10 minutes. More than that could be very disorienting. When I'm going to have Bruce tap you out, I'm not going to be touching around somebody's leg, or wherever you are to him. But I'm going to have him tap you out so you won't be super startled. It'll be a touch on your leg or your shoulder, whatever he chooses. So be mindful of that.
Just in case something else touches me.
Okay. When you come out, do not get up. So your eyes are going to need to adjust, and your brain is going to be in a different kind of fog because you're listening to this. So just a couple of tricks and tips that I've learned while doing this a few times. All right, so you got the gist of the blindfold, obviously, so that's good. So are you guys all ready? Let's huddle in a little bit closer, if you don't mind. How's your lady? Yes. Yeah, well, they're exploring already.
But I was getting chills in that last one.
Hold on, I've left it that. Oh, you're back.
Oh, I got it.
You got something over there?
Hey, folks, you guys want to gather along in here? We'll wrap it up tonight.
Got his jar.
Any luck with the K2? Okay, well,